is going on, you beautiful people? DJ's here with the final Advanced Wars Story game review. Today in this short episode, we'll be talking about my closing thoughts on the game, as well as giving it a grade, whether I recommend it to you guys or I think it's absolute schlop. So, in order to grade it, I've chosen a 100-point scale, graded to this following criteria. Playability, which is on a scale of 50. Is the game fun, most importantly? Did I enjoy myself? Is it challenging? Is it too easy? Is there bugs? Does the map design work? That's basically the biggest category. Playability is on a 50-point scale. Next we have balance changes, which is on the 20-point scale. Are the CO changes and unit changes cohesive? Does it make sense? Or there's no overpowered units, there's no underpowered units? Basically, are the balance changes good overall? That's on a 20-point scale. Next we have the story. This one's only 10 points, so it's very small, but is the story cohesive? Is it entertaining? Is it engaging? And does it match with the maps and stuff? Like, if you're talking about a certain thing happening in a sea, and then you have the next map is a mountain, you know, some cohesion between the maps as well as the story as well. Finally, we have creativity, which is kind of a catch-all. Is the game creative? Did they get creative with new units? Did they get creative with the CEOs and story, etc.? Creativity, just an overall catch-all, whether the creator of the game was creative or not. So, it's on a 100-point scale. And from 90 to 100, you get an S rank, which is a must-play for everyone. Must-play game, highly recommend to all my friends and family and all of you guys as well. Next up, from 80 to 89 on the scale, we have an A rank, which is a great game that I highly recommend to people. It's hard to go wrong here. I'm a notoriously hard grader, so if everything's not perfect in S rank, A rank is still pretty damn good. Next, we have B rank, which is from 70 to 79 on the scale. It's a fun, solid game, I would say, that most people would enjoy. It's a quality game. Maybe there's a few issues here and there, but overall, it's a solid game that I'd be happy to recommend to most people. Next up, we have C rank, which is from 60 to 69 on the scale. This is more of a niche game with some issues that maybe only hardcore or dedicated players would enjoy. I wouldn't recommend this to someone who hasn't delved into the game before, or who maybe wants something extremely challenging. And after that, we have schlop, which is anything below 60 is absolute schlop. It's a bad game. I don't recommend it at all. Hopefully you never see a game ranked in the schlop territory, because this is pretty dang bad. So starting off, let's talk about playability with Advanced Wars Story. So, overall, I thought this was a great game. I had fun in every single episode. There was notable maps that I really enjoyed, such as the level with Hachi and Sturm, where you're basically building a whole bunch of units from cities while Sturm is assaulting you in the middle. The Grit level with facing Olaf, where I barely made it across the finish line. That was a really close game. The Andy level defending against Kambe's wall of troops. Like, this was a lot of fun. This RomHack was probably one of the most fun RomHacks for Advanced Wars 2 RomHacks I've ever played. Really fun. Was not too challenging. I said it was more on the easier side, but I would consider myself an Advanced Wars Pro, whereas maybe the more casual player would have more of a challenge. I was still fighting for S ranks every single time. I didn't get S rank on every single map, but probably like 95% of the maps I did. I thought it was a pretty good challenge. I wish there might have been a hard mode, I would say. That's a lot of work, though. I understand you have to kind of reprogram everything and create whole new levels for everything to have a hard mode embedded in there. So just nitpicking a little bit. Hard mode would have been nice. I thought that there was a few bugs. The spaceship levels and sort of the end of the game, it took a long time for the units to like load. Like, you'd wait like, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds at the end of every turn. I guess the computer was calculating or something was coming up. There just to me a little bit of a lag towards the end of the game. Wasn't a huge deal, just kind of sitting there like waiting for everything to load. Sometimes it could be a little glitchy, but not terrible. Also, the team score calculations, maybe I'm just salty on the team scores, but I think we need to figure out something where the team score is player one always gets the score, or it's a combination of all the COs getting the score, so I don't get like a S rank, or sorry, like a B rank on a game that I annihilated because Grit didn't get any kills or something like that. And then also there's that bug with like the flak landers when you go over land, and how it would have 0 fuel, so they just dies immediately. I remember that specifically. Some of the bugs related to the flak landers. The submarine, in one point in the later game when you're controlling Black Hole, the submarine would disappear if you submerged it. I think because it thinks that Black Hole AI is if you control Black Hole, that it's still an enemy unit, so it would hide. So a few bugs like that. Nothing significant. Overall, I would give this a 47 out of 50, which is pretty dang high, I have to say so myself. Overall, I had a boatload of fun with this. I didn't get too ragey either. You want to enjoy yourself when you're playing video games. I mean, a good amount of rage is good. You know, you want to be challenged. You want to feel good when you beat a game. Like, yes, I overcame something challenging rather than just steamrolling through everything. But I thought this was a perfect, nice little mixture. And I didn't rage that much. I enjoyed myself. I looked forward to playing this, to be perfectly honest. You guys might have noticed in a lot of sessions I played like 3-4 missions in a row because I was just having fun. Rather than viewing it as a chore that I had to do, I just was like, yeah, let's record, let's do it. I'll knock out 4 today. Wearing the same shirt. No, I didn't care. It was fun. So 47 out of 50 for playability. Next up, we have the balance changes. And I think they were pretty good overall. I'll say the good things I liked first. Combe got a deserved nerf. I think that Andy got a nice buff with having his hyper upgrade, or the whatever hyper repair, his CO power getting a nice boost of 3 HP rather than 2 HP. I did like some of the balance changes associated with Sturm as well. I think reducing his vehicles by 1 movement was very creative, and I enjoyed that a lot. I think that adds a lot of interesting atmosphere for Sturm, where he's super strong, but he's also slow and, you know, a little sluggish with his vehicles. Kind of balanced him out a bit. I also enjoyed the balance changes related to what's his namers, Adder. I think the lower defense and like moving further, that was really interesting, and I think it kind of matches his CO as well, so I think that was very clever. Adder would be that slithering little snake who's kind of susceptible to a counterattack, but he can sneak to the front lines quite easily. I really enjoyed Adder's nerf/buff as well. I think Hachi and Colin were a little bit overdone. I think they're nerfed way too hard. I think Colin kind of is Garbo now. Just his units having -10 defense and firepower, and it's harder to get that charge to even get to his CO power, which is now reduced as well. Like, they massacred Colin. He's not really playable anymore. He's just bad. Hachi is also really bad with the capturing mechanic. Like, even if he has really overpowered superpower and CO powers, he was a little... he was murdered a bit. He'd be like tier 4 if you added him into a competitive Advance Wars with the 9 capture rather than 10 for his cities. Like, not being able to capture a property in 2 turns with a full HP unit is awful. Gosh, awful. So, Hachi was massacred. I felt like Grit could have used the nerf as well. They kind of kept Grit, Olaf, all of them the same, Sammy. So, I think there could have been a little bit more balancing. They made Sonya better. I did like how they made Sonya's CO power actually usable now. I do wish they just got rid of her bad luck, though. I feel like her bad luck is just... it should be just gotten rid of. She's still pretty bad in this game just due to the bad luck, even though she got the buffs to her CO power, etc. So, I think overall there was some good changes with the COs. Regarding the units, I was actually incredibly surprised by the units, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Destroyers were a great addition. I loved lowering the cost of all the naval units. Subs are like 10k now. Cruisers are cheap as shit. Landers are like 5k. Like, I loved all the changes to the Navy. The Dreadnought was a little too expensive. I think it was a good unit, but it's 28k. Like, that's a lot. It should be like 23 maybe tops. Like, it's still clunky and slow and, you know, stuck on the water. It's not like an air unit can move anywhere. And the majority of maps are land dominant. So the Dreadnought was a little bit too expensive, I say, to warrant that price tag. But I really liked it. I think Destroyers were a little overpowered at times. Maybe nerf them slightly. Maybe raise their cost slightly. One of those two. Maybe just nerf their slightly. I like the cost point of 8k. I think that's a good price point right there. But I love the changes overall. This is one of the most balanced Navy Advanced Wars hacks I've seen. Like, great job with the Navy. I really enjoyed the balance changes to the Navy. Regarding the land units, Neotanks are a little overpowered now. Maybe you nerf them slightly. I know they increased the cost of them, but maybe you nerf them slightly. Maybe that defense was a little too overpowered. I remember my artillery was doing, like, I don't know, 2 damage to it on a plane. That was pretty rough. When I saw my artillery do 2 damage to a Neotank on a plane, I was like, oh, they're really good now. I was like, either artillery suck now, or Neotanks are really good. And it was the latter. So Neotanks, but other than that, I like the balance changes for land. Can't really complain there. Air was interesting. I think bombers are overpowered at 17k, and they're still really good. Gotta up the price on the bombers. Fighters got nerfed a little too hard. Maybe you make them a little cheaper. Maybe you make them a little stronger. One of the two, not both. But Fighter's a little overwhelming. I did overall like the changes, though. I think it was a healthy ecosystem to make things cheaper, because battlecopters are dominant, basically, in competitive Advanced Wars. So making everything else more viable makes it less just copter dominant. So I really liked that. Interceptor is interesting, too. I think you don't need to really change the Interceptor. Maybe just fix up the fighters and raise the price point on bombers as well. But overall, really good changes. I was very impressed by the balance changes. I think this person had a very consultative approach to this. Probably asked a whole bunch of people who played Advanced Wars, like, what should I do here? What should I do there? It didn't just seem like a unilateral, like, this is better, and I'm going to do this. Like, it seemed like this guy did his research. I don't want to, this guy or girl, I should say. I don't know who made it their gender, but I was impressed. I think they did a great job, and for that, I gave an 18 out of 20, which is a very high ranking. I'm a harsh grader. So 18 out of 20 for balance changes, so great job there. Highly impressed. Next, we have the story. Well, this is the weak point of the game. I thought the story was interesting at first. I like it when, spoiler alert, I like it when good characters turn bad. I like the whole Sonya angle. I think that was interesting. The love story stuff was a little too much. If you watch these hacks, me, and I think this is reflected as well in my comment section of the videos, it was a little, the relationship stuff was too much. It was just novels written down. I think he did a good job. They did a good job bringing the maps and the story together. Like, the maps reflected the story. Oh, we're going to be in a mountain fortress. Oh, there's a mountain fortress. Oh, we're fighting in the sea, and the HQ should be allowed to be captured easy, like the Drake mission. And that happened. Stuff like that. It was very cohesive there. But the story itself, I was entertained at times, don't get me wrong. It was cohesive for the most part. Until the very end with the spaceship stuff was a little wonky, and Sonya like sticking a plug into her, like, I thought that was a little weird, and Andy just simply hyper upgrading her and she's fixed. And then the relationship stuff. Honestly, your mileage may vary. Maybe you enjoy it more than me. I'm not into the whole hentai anime relationship stuff. I don't really have like a body pillow or anything like that. Maybe some of you that do maybe appreciate this more. But personally, I thought it was a little too much, a little overdone. I think the guy was funny at points. Like, he had some good comedy in there. It wasn't lost on me. But I think overall it was just a little off. So this is definitely the weak point of the story. But I'm still giving it a 4 out of 10. I could have given it lower, but I think it still was cohesive with the maps as well. And I think there at points I was engaged with the story. And I think it was clever having, the characters and their developments. I think there was a little bit of cleverness to it. And Sensei trying to kill Sonya, I liked that as well. I thought that was a very interesting angle. And the Adder Sensei level was, or kind of interaction was good until it kind of got a little sexual or weird. I don't know. That was a little strange. I don't know if it was it was just weird. But the dynamic was interesting. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 10, which is, could do better there. Anyway, finally, let's go to creativity. 20 points. How will I delegate this? I thought the game was very creative. I think the CO changes, the balance changes overall, the map design was phenomenal. Just like there was always new things, like that weird level where you're flying in a T-copter away from Sensei the entirety of the game. That was just, I've never seen anything like that. And like busting the pipes or the cannons on the way to escape. Like, I've never seen that creativity before. Flax landers going over land. That was freaking cool too. That level with Hachi, like I said, like, you have to create an army from the cities. I mean, there was a lot of creativity going on in this. It was not lost on me. Very enjoyable. I was kept guessing. The maps were fresh. I was entertained. Not one map was the same as the next map. There was always something new. Survival maps, ones where you have to rush to finish and kill all the mini cannons with Max. It was a potpourri of different engaging levels. And they weren't all too easy. They weren't all too hard. Some of them were a little easy, I would admit. Like, some of them beat in like 10 minutes flat. But I thought the creativity was on point. I thought it was really cool. And yeah, it was just well done. I give a 17 out of 20. Now, we add all these together, 47 plus 18 plus 4 plus 17. We get ourselves to a nice 86 out of 100. Now, this is an A rank. I highly recommend. It's suitable for most people. This is one of the, I will say it definitively. This is the most fun and best Advanced Wars 2 ROM hack I've played. I think it was balanced. I think it was fun. I don't think it was too frustrating. It wasn't too buggy. it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. And a lot of people who were following the series said, I started it too. They enjoyed it as well. People were playing along with me while I played this ROM hack. I'm glad I brought some attention to the game. It is a great game. The owner should be proud of how well they created this game. It was a lot of fun. I have not much else to say. I don't want to delve too much into it more, but it was just fun. I enjoyed myself, and sometimes that's all you need to know at the end of the day. Did they put a lot of effort? Whatever. Did you have fun? And the answer is yes. I definitively had fun doing this hack. I look forward to every next mission. It was a lot of fun. You guys got to play this game. 86 out of 100. A rank. Nowhere near schlop. So, thank you for creating this hack. Whoever recommended this to me a few months ago, thank you for recommending it to me. Good call there. Shoutouts to you. But yeah, please check out Advanced Wars Story. I'll leave the link to the ROM hack in the description if you want to download it yourself. And yeah, enjoy, guys. Have a good one. Bye.